everyone, welcome to another video of Cooks with Iron. I just invited my parents over for supper and my mother-in-law, and they may be bringing a friend. My husband will be coming home for lunch. So I have about an hour and a half to make supper and get everything done. I'm gonna make tacos. So the other night, the way I do it to make it a little easier on me is sometimes I'll cook more hamburger meat and just grind it all up. So 2 days ago, I made spaghetti with some hamburger meat. So I put 4 pounds out and I cooked it all. Half of it I made with the spaghetti, and I make enough for leftovers for lunches and stuff like that. And then I have the other half right here, defrosting in the sink with hot water. So I'm trying to get that to defrost. So it just makes it quicker when I go to make a quick supper like tacos. I've already got the hamburger meat done. I just need to thaw it, and then I can add the seasonings and the salsa to it and stuff to make tacos. So I had a head of lettuce, and I've already put some in a bowl. I've just kind of hand shredded it, and then I've already had some shredded cheese. I've got that. And so now I'm cutting tomatoes. So I thought while I was doing this, here we go, I would bring y'all along with me. My parents have a friend that lives next door, and she is growing these purple. Can you see? Here's a red tomato. See the difference in these red ones and these purple ones? And she gave them some. So we're gonna have one with our tacos. I'm just gonna cube it up. So I thought I'd just bring you guys along while I'm making supper. I do have more meat defrosting in the microwave, because if that's 7 or 8 of us eating, that may not be enough meat. I'd rather go ahead and just have the meat done and sitting there in case I do need it. If I don't need it, I'll just put it in a freezer bag and put it back into the freezer. So now I'm going to get a bowl for these tomatoes. I don't think I have sour cream either, but that's okay. We'll just do lettuce, tomatoes, taco meat. I have plenty of shells. I have some keto low carb shells, and then I have corn, and I think I have some plain flour also. I always give the ends of anything to my chickens. That way you can see this. So any of the scraps of food that I have, I just throw it over there in their pen. In the tote with their food. And then when I take a scoop of food out to them, I usually scoop up the tomato ends or whatever I have left, lettuce or... It just dawned on me that I need to put that back in the freezer. It hadn't been in the warm water just a few minutes. That way I can cook fresh out of the microwave, because I'm going to have to use some anyway. So I'm going to get a bowl to put these tomatoes in. I love to cook for people. I love to entertain. I love having a bunch of people over. I stopped by a roadside produce stand on the way home. I've seen it out there a few times. Usually just a chair out by the road with some vegetables. So I kind of thought it was like an honor system. I love when they leave honor systems, because I like to bless people and give them more than what their signs are asking for. But I stopped, and a gentleman came out and helped me. And I picked 3 squash, just 3 normal squash. And he said, "Oh no, my wife is selling a whole bag for for $5. So a produce bag like you get at Walmart or anywhere else." So I filled up a produce bag. I have a whole bunch of squash sitting here, and I gave him the $5 for that. And then he said she's charging tomatoes. It's just kind of whatever you want to whatever you think they're worth. So I gave him $5 for 1 big tomato, 1 big one, and then 1 to 5 little ones. So I gave him $10, and he was happy with it. I was happy with it, and that's what he said. He said, "As long as you're happy, I'm happy." So I love those people on the side of the road selling stuff. All right, so I got 2 tomatoes cut up. I think that'll be plenty. All right, I'm gonna rinse my hands off. And then I'll lid on this. I'm gonna go ahead and check this meat. Just trying to get it thawed. I'm gonna give this to my chickens. I'll give it to them tomorrow. Now rinse my cutting board off. All right. Now, I'm going to cut up all these jalapenos I have. We have a garden out back. It's just 5 or 6 plants of stuff. And nothing is really growing amazing. Jalapenos, I can always grow jalapenos, which is not something I use all the time, but it is something that I can grow. So I'm going to cut these off, all the tops off of these, and I'm going to put them in the refrigerator. What I do is I buy hang on, let me get a glove. So what I do is I buy a jar, just a regular jar from the store, of jalapenos. And then I pour it into this big jar. And I put a cup of sugar over it. It's hard because it gets sticky. Oh. So what I do is I put a cup of sugar over those jalapenos that I buy from the store. And then I turn it for a while, just set it in my refrigerator, and you turn it and eventually all of the sugar will melt. Well, when all the sugar melts, then you have sweet jalapenos. And so I use those on a lot of things. It just changes up where it's just not hot all the time, and it kind of changes up the flavor. It's really nice, and there's a thick juice in here. That's why the lid was stuck, because there's sugar, but there's a real thick juice in here. And then sometimes I just add a cup of sugar every once in a while, and it just kind of soaks into the jalapenos. Now, I've never done fresh ones before. I've always bought them from the store, but I was just sitting here thinking, I don't want these jalapenos to ruin. What am I going to do with them? Well, sounds to me, woo, you can tell a difference. I'll show you my jar and see if y'all can tell a difference in the, see mine at the top? The ones at the bottom are our store-bought. The ones at the top are homegrown. A lot greener, huh? So, let me just cut these up, and I'll get them into this jar. And I'm not going to use them for a few days, so they'll have plenty of time to soak in, and I don't know how hot they'll be, but I guess I'll find out. I love jalapenos, just I don't want them real hot. And then after this, I'll do my taco meat. My deal is I don't know how many people's coming, so I don't know how much to cook for. I want there to be plenty, but not to have a ton of taco meat. I don't mind having extra hamburger meat because I can always make it into something else. But I have turned taco meat into chili before, so that was good. Before I put this in the refrigerator, I'll give it a really good shake. I'm going to try to rinse this lid out. I think because it got sweet sugar around the rim, it's gotten to where it sticks real bad. So I'm going to take that and run hot water in it. I'm going to get a towel and I'm going to rinse it off and wash this top with hot water. Maybe it'll make it easier for me to open next time. It went on a lot easier. I don't like hardly anything to go to waste, but I will not feed these to my chickens. They're too hot. Well, I don't know. I would assume they're too hot for chickens. I could be wrong. Chickens may eat them. I don't know. Just know they will not eat orange peels. It's too acidic. Aww, that tomato I just bought is bad on one end. I need to go ahead and cut it up and put it in with this other stuff since it's bad. I had it sitting on this side. You can see where it's real soft right there. So I don't waste a tomato, because if I let that sit there for 3 or 4 days, it's going to go to waste. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it up. Just cut the bad part off the tomato, which was just the end, just a little bitty bit. Ooh, I've got people already headed my way, y'all. I better get my stuff together, hadn't I? This calls for me to stop talking and get to cooking quickly. I've got all the fixings and stuff done. Okay, new tomato in the bowl. Okay, now let's go dump this over to my chickens. All right, y'all wanna come over here with me? Whoop. This is where we're going to start now. Right here. Put these two up. Got my big one to cook with. Okay. And then I'm going to use this grease to fry squash. Previously fried squash in this, so I'm going to do it again. I take a Ziploc bag and I do some Jiffy corn mix like this. Pour it in there. Since I got more people coming over, I'm doing 2 boxes. I'll even give these ends to my chickens. These are squash. Then I'm going to take the squash and put them in here. I use a Ziploc bag, that way when I'm done I can throw it away and there's no waste. This is one thing that I struggle with when I have frozen hamburger meat. It's thawed a little bit, but not a whole lot. So I have this spatulator. I don't know what you call it. I got it at Walmart. I think it was $5. And it makes great to help you chop up the hamburger. It cooks faster for sure. So when it's frozen, it is hard to do. And I'm trying to do 4 pounds at one time. And that was easy. Okay, turn off the grease for a second. I've got my grease for my fried squash going over here. And this is a Lodge cast iron skillet, and I don't know how big it is. I want to say 16 inches. Maybe it's either 16 or 18, I'm not sure. Got it at Walmart. I think it was $20, somewhere in that area. So it's big enough I can put it on 2 burners, as you can see. But it just gets hot quick. So I have to be careful and keep adding water because it dries out real quick. Now, I'm going to put a strainer. That's what I need. Use this strainer bowl. Got it at a garage sale. It's a Tupperware. Put these two in there. I'll put the squash over in it. I need to get it going. I love to cook like this. Cook a whole bunch. Cook quickly. It's one of my favorite things to do. Love to cook. I love to cook for family. And all I did with this was just cut it in small pieces. So hopefully it'll cook pretty fast. I'm not even worried about the squash getting done. I'm not worried about it being done before they get here, but I kind of want the taco meat done. So I think they're about 15 minutes away. Makes for me a quick trip to get things done, don't it? Okay. So I like to have my taco meat. I do not like chunks. I like ground, small pieces of meat. So, but that's the way I like taco meat. My husband's even said before on my spaghetti. I guess that's the way I like my ground hamburger. If I make spaghetti, if I make hamburger helper, anything that I make, I always make real small meat. And he said, I like how you do that. I don't like how it's got big chunks in it the way some people make it. So, it takes me a while to work on it, but I get it done. And it's hot in here. I'm going to turn on a fan. That may be too loud. I hope it's not. And this burns my arms. It's so hot right here. Okay. Just let it cook for a few minutes. I usually just stand my little spatula right in the middle. And to do my squash, I just use a fork. I turn it, and you can tell when it'll start getting brown. You can also tell when it's real flimsy when you flip it. I should have put more in the skillet at one time because they're kind of all running away from me. But that's okay, I couldn't really see. But this next time I'll know to put a whole lot more than I did the first time. I got everybody going there. And I keep chopping on the hamburger meat. And for my taco seasoning, do I have it here? Where's it at? Oh, here it is. I home make my own taco seasoning. I just got a thing that says taco seasoning on it. So in here is chili powder, and there's cumin, and onion powder, garlic powder, I have a recipe for it, and you can Google the recipe for homemade taco seasoning, and it is so good. And if you buy a packet, like most people do, $1 for the packet stuff at Walmart, that is 2 tablespoons. So anytime I cook a pound of hamburger meat, I do 2 tablespoons. So in this, I'm going to do 4 tablespoons. I do have more meat than that, so I'll do 4, and then I'll stir it and taste it. Okay, it's good and chopped. Everything's really chopped up now. So I'm going to let it go ahead and keep cooking. This is deer meat. Sorry, put that away. This is deer meat, so it is not very fatty at all. that's all we have, is we have a deer. And we don't buy hamburger meat unless it's a steak or I run out of deer meat for the year, which we try not to put ourselves in that situation. We try to have enough deer meat for the year. Okay, the hamburger meat's just a little bit pink in spots. Oh, squash is ready. So I'll let it just start getting brown around the edges. I can show you one in just a second, like this one right here. See how it's getting brown around the edges? That's how I do my squash. I love using cast iron because it takes a lot of heat. It doesn't buckle or break or anything like a regular skillet would. So it's so nice. Let me fill this back up. Okay. I'm not going to dump the fat off of it because there is barely any fat in it. Just a little bit of water. And then I'm going to put 1, 2. Y'all ought to smell this. It smells so much better than the store. You know what you put in it. There's no additives or flavors or crazy stuff. Let me get my salsa. It's over here. I always just put paste pecani sauce. That's what my mom always done, and that's what I've always done. Just put it in my tacos. But I'm not going to have enough for that much meat. I have these crushed tomatoes unless I have to. I don't know. Oh, yay! So glad I bought extra. I don't want to add this. I've never added it before. I don't know what it's going to taste like. So I don't want it to have everybody coming over and it tastes funny. Everybody's used to the way I've always cooked it. The way Mom always cooked it. They tell me they're within 3 to 5 miles, so no, about 5 miles. So I'm doing good on time. I thought, let me taste this. Let me show you here. Okay, so I've got this hamburger meat here. I'm trying to get it all stirred in. And then I have this squash frying here. And I'll take these and flip these. Sides. So we're gonna tacos and fried squash here. Try this. Yes. So good. So good. I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to get this in a bucket. I have a hard time lifting this pan, especially when it has stuff in it. I cannot do it with one hand, that's for sure. But so usually if I'm doing anything like this, my husband will come hold the pan and let me rake it off in there. But he's at work, home by myself. So this is what I'm gonna do. All right, I gotta stop, get the squash out. So good. That squash that's in that, the squash that's in that Jiffy mix is a little bit sweet. It makes it so good. I love it. That's the way my husband likes it too. I like to saute it with just some butter and garlic, salt, and onion powder, but he doesn't like it that way. So, usually our men get what they want. This again. This will, the only thing about using, I guess frying up anything that's in cornmeal or anything, it makes the oil really go bad real quick. It gets where you can't hardly fry anything. So I'm going to, when I get done with frying this pan here, then I will go ahead and empty it out outside, and then I'll start new oil. I think I'm going to get all this in there anyway, but you can't fry a ton of squash because it's only, the batter makes the oil bad quick. Yay, I think that's it. Looks like it. The only thing I have to do when they get here is heat up the taco shells. So that won't take me very long at all. I'm going to put a piece of foil over this. Warm. This in the sink. Whew. What are we doing now? All right, got the last of the squash going. Lip. All right, that look good. I'm gonna try another piece. So good. Now, I use a pan, use a flat griddle pan like this to cook my tortillas on. Okay, squash is done. I may have left it too long on one side, huh? Oh, so good though. I better stay out of it. There won't be much left. Let me go ahead and get this skillet heated up. Okay. That. And then I'll put a little oil in it. And this is how I'm going to serve them. Like that. And what I do, I don't have towels or napkins. I think they waste money. Every once in a while, I'll splurge and get a big bag of like 500 napkins or something. Once they're gone, it takes me a while before I buy another bag. So I feel like I'm wasting, so I just throw them away. So I take my kitchen, these are my kitchen towels. I put like 4 shells on here, and then I lay another towel, and I put 4 shells so that it soaks up all the juice. All the grease. All grease. Flour tortilla, you have to have a carb balance. Let me wipe this off. Almost looks like it was a little foggy. So if you want corn, you get this. If you want to flour, you get carb balance. So I'm going to do some corn first. Oh, there's my daddy. See y'all in the next video.